In the heart of Alaska lies a wilderness so vast and untamed that it defies human comprehension. Here, beneath the shadow of North America's tallest peak, 6 million acres of pristine wilderness stretch beyond the horizon. This is a land where temperatures plummet to depths that would freeze the very breath in your lungs. Yet when spring finally breaks through winter's armor, life explodes in a symphony of color and sound that rivals any earthly paradise. Summer arrives like a gentle giant, bringing warmth and abundance that seems almost impossible after the harsh months of cold and darkness. And autumn paints this landscape in gold and crimson, a final celebration before the cycle begins anew. 4 seasons, 4 dramatically different worlds, each one testing the limits of survival, demanding adaptation, resilience, and the kind of raw determination that only nature can forge. Welcome to Denali National Park, where the turning of the seasons writes the greatest story ever told. Winter in Denali is not merely a season, it is a test of existence itself. The landscape becomes monochromatic, and the slightest mistake can mean the difference between life and death. Here, in the depths of winter, Denali reveals its true character. This is not a place for the faint of heart or the unprepared. This is a wilderness that demands respect, commands attention, and rewards only those who understand that in nature's most extreme theater, there are no second chances. Against the white backdrop of Denali's winter landscape, a shadow moves with purpose and deadly grace. The gray wolf, apex predator of the North, embodies everything that winter in Alaska demands: intelligence, endurance, and an unwavering commitment to the pack. Standing 3 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing up to 110 pounds, this magnificent creature has been shaped by thousands of years of evolutionary pressure into the perfect winter hunter. The alpha female of the East Fork pack pauses on a ridge, her keen yellow eyes scanning the valley below. Her thick double coat, a mixture of gray, black, and white guard hairs over a dense undercoat, provides insulation against temperatures that would kill lesser creatures. Each breath creates a small cloud of vapor that dissipates quickly in the dry, frigid air. Her large paws, equipped with thick fur between the toes, distribute her weight across the snow like natural snowshoes, allowing her to move across terrain that would trap other animals. Below her, the rest of the pack waits in disciplined silence. 7 wolves in total, their social hierarchy as rigid and essential as the frozen ground beneath their feet. The beta male, scarred from countless hunts, keeps watch on the left flank. 2 yearlings, now in their first full winter, stay close to their elders, learning through observation and experience the deadly art of pack hunting. The omega wolf, lowest in the hierarchy but crucial to pack dynamics, maintains its position at the rear, ready to follow the alpha's lead without question. Their target grazes in the valley below, a small herd of caribou, their antlers catching the weak winter sunlight like ancient crowns. These caribou are not the vast herds of summer, but rather the hardy individuals that have chosen to overwinter in Denali rather than migrate south. They are tough, experienced, and dangerous when cornered. Their sharp hooves can shatter bone, and their endurance in deep snow rivals that of the wolves themselves. The alpha female's ears twitch as she processes the subtle sounds of the winter landscape. The crunch of snow beneath caribou hooves, the whisper of wind through bare willows, the distant call of a raven hoping to scavenge from the hunt to come. She has been hunting these valleys for 6 years, long enough to know every ridge, every hidden ravine, every escape route the caribou might use. With a barely perceptible movement of her head, she signals the pack. The hunt begins with the patience of a creature that understands winter's harsh mathematics. In temperatures this extreme, every calorie burned must be justified. A failed hunt means not just hunger, but potential death for the weaker pack members. The wolves cannot afford to waste energy on hopeless chases or poorly planned attacks. The pack splits into 2 groups with the precision of a military operation. The alpha female leads 3 wolves in a wide circle to approach the caribou from the downwind side. The beta male takes the remaining wolves to block the most likely escape route through a narrow pass between 2 hills. This is not random predation, but rather the execution of a sophisticated hunting strategy refined over generations. As the caribou graze, apparently unaware of the approaching danger, the alpha female demonstrates why wolves have survived and thrived in this harsh environment for millennia. She moves with ghost-like silence, her body low to the ground, using every available piece of cover. A fallen log here, a snowdrift there. Each obstacle becomes part of her approach strategy. Her packmates mirror her movements, maintaining visual contact through subtle signals, while positioning themselves for the crucial moment when stealth gives way to speed. The caribou bull, largest of the group, suddenly lifts his massive head. His nostrils flare as he tests the air, his survival instincts honed by years of avoiding predators. But the wolves have approached from downwind, and the dry winter air carries their scent away from their prey. The alpha female makes her choice. With explosive power, she launches herself from cover, her powerful hindquarters driving her forward through the snow. The hunt is on, and winter's most dramatic chase begins to unfold across the frozen landscape. The caribou bull's reaction is instantaneous and magnificent. At over 400 pounds with antlers spanning 4 feet across, he is no easy target. His large concave hooves, perfectly adapted for travel across snow and tundra, immediately begin their life-saving work. These hooves, which serve as snowshoes in winter and boats in summer river crossings, now provide the traction needed for the sprint of his life. Behind him, the small herd explodes into motion. The caribou's double-layered coat, with its dense undercoat and hollow guard hairs, provides both insulation and surprising lightness. Each animal can achieve speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, even in deep snow, their specialized anatomy allowing them to literally run for their lives. The lead cow, a veteran, immediately recognizes the danger's full scope. Her experience tells her this is not a random wolf encounter, but a coordinated pack hunt. She breaks away from the main group, heading toward the rocky outcropping that might provide escape routes too narrow for the wolves to follow effectively. Her decision will either save her life or separate her from the protection of the group. A calculated risk that demonstrates the split-second decision-making that defines survival in Denali's winter. The wolves' strategy begins to reveal itself as the caribou runs. The alpha female maintains steady pressure on the herd, not trying to catch them immediately, but rather driving them toward the waiting ambush. Her packmates pace the fleeing animals, testing for signs of weakness or fatigue. The 2 yearling wolves, eager to prove themselves, surge ahead only to be called back by sharp barks from the beta male. This is not the time for inexperienced enthusiasm, but for the disciplined execution of pack tactics. The caribou bull, massive and powerful, nonetheless begins to show signs of the tremendous energy expenditure required for high-speed travel through deep snow. His breath comes in great clouds of vapor, and the dark patches of sweat beginning to show through his coat indicate the toll this chase is taking. Yet he continues to lead, his paternal instincts overriding personal survival as he ensures the herd stays together and moves towards safety. As the chase continues across the white expanse, it becomes clear that this is more than a simple predator-prey encounter. This is a test of everything that has allowed both species to thrive in one of Earth's most challenging environments. The wolves' intelligence and coordination face off against the caribou's endurance and adaptability. The outcome will determine not just individual survival, but the success of pack and herd dynamics that have evolved over thousands of years. The rocky outcropping grows larger as the chase continues, its dark stone faces offering the promise of escape routes and defensive positions. But the wolves have not survived Denali's winters by allowing prey to reach safety easily. The beta male's group has been moving parallel to the chase, and now they begin to show themselves, cutting off the caribou's route to the rocks. The trap is closing, and the real test of winter survival is about to begin. High above the drama of the wolf and caribou chase, on precipitous cliffs that would challenge the most experienced mountaineer, another of Denali's winter survivors watches the valley below with calm, intelligent eyes. The Dall sheep ram, his magnificent curved horns marking him as the master of his domain, represents a completely different survival strategy in this harsh environment. Where wolves rely on pack cooperation and caribou on speed and endurance, the Dall sheep has chosen the vertical world as his fortress against winter's challenges. This ram, weighing nearly 200 pounds and standing 3 feet tall at the shoulder, embodies the perfect adaptation to cliff-dwelling life. His pure white coat, which provides perfect camouflage against the snow-covered rocks, is complemented by sure-footed hooves with hard outer edges and soft, gripping inner pads. These specialized feet allow him to navigate ledges barely wider than his body, to leap across gaps that would terrify other animals, and to find footing on surfaces that appear impossibly smooth to the human eye. Beside him, a small band of ewes and young rams finds shelter in a series of caves carved by centuries of wind and weather. These natural shelters, invisible from the valley below, provide crucial protection from the worst of Denali's winter storms. The wind that can reach 100 miles per hour at these elevations would quickly kill any animal caught in the open. But these caves offer a microclimate where temperatures remain relatively stable, and wind is deflected around the surrounding rock formations. The ram's horns, massive spirals that can weigh up to 30 pounds, are not just weapons, but also tools for survival. In the limited growing season of summer, he will use them to establish dominance and breeding rights. But in winter, they serve a different purpose, helping him maintain balance during the most treacherous climbs and providing leverage when digging through snow to reach the hardy grasses and sedges that grow in protected cliff face crevices below him. The wolf-caribou chase continues, but the ram watches with the detached interest of a creature whose survival strategy has lifted him above such ground-level concerns. His elevation provides safety from most terrestrial predators, but it comes with its own unique challenges. Food is scarce at these heights, limited to the tough, fibrous plants that can survive in shallow soil and extreme weather. Water often exists only as snow and ice, requiring precious energy to melt and consume. The ram's digestive system, featuring a 4-chambered stomach, allows him to extract maximum nutrition from this marginal vegetation. He can survive on plants that would provide insufficient nutrition for other animals, slowly processing cellulose and other complex carbohydrates through patient rumination. This efficiency is crucial in an environment where every calorie counts, and foraging opportunities are limited by weather and daylight hours. As the winter wind picks up, carrying with it the promise of another storm, the ram demonstrates one of the most remarkable adaptations in Denali's winter survival arsenal. Instead of seeking shelter immediately, he positions himself on an exposed ledge where the wind will blow snow away from potential feeding areas. His white coat, invisible against the snow, provides perfect concealment from the golden eagles that occasionally hunt these heights, looking for sheep separated from their groups or weakened by harsh conditions. The other sheep in his band follow his example, spreading out along the cliff face to take advantage of the wind's snow-clearing action. Each animal maintains visual contact with the others, their social bonds crucial for survival in an environment where isolation can mean death. The experienced ewes watch for signs of approaching weather, while the younger animals learn through observation the subtle arts of cliff navigation and high-altitude survival. This vertical world demands a different kind of courage than the ground-level struggles of wolves and caribou. Here, a single misstep means certain death, and the margin for error is measured in inches rather than feet. Yet the ram moves with the confidence of a creature perfectly adapted to his environment, his entire being shaped by generations of evolution, in one of the most challenging habitats on Earth. Spring in Denali arrives not as a gentle progression, but as a dramatic transformation that reshapes the entire landscape in a matter of weeks. After 8 months of winter's iron grip, the first signs of change ripple across the tundra like whispers of a revolution about to unfold. The sun, which has been a pale stranger on the horizon, suddenly begins its triumphant return to prominence, bringing with it the promise of warmth, growth, and renewal. This is the season of desperate urgency, when every creature must balance the opportunities of awakening abundance against the continuing challenges of an environment still caught between winter and summer. The landscape becomes a patchwork of contrasts, where snow-covered peaks overlook valleys beginning to show the first tentative green shoots of new growth. It is a time when the very air seems to vibrate with possibility, and the ancient rhythms of life reassert themselves with unstoppable force. In this season of transition, territorial boundaries shift as animals emerge from winter's constraints. Mating seasons overlap with the final struggles of winter survival, creating a complex web of behaviors that test every creature's ability to adapt. The fortunate animals that have survived winter's trials now face spring's different but equally demanding challenges. The increasing daylight triggers cascading changes throughout the ecosystem. Hormones surge, driving animals to behaviors that would seem impossible just weeks earlier. The same creatures that spent winter in careful conservation of energy now explode into activity, their bodies responding to the ancient signals that govern Arctic life. This is Denali's spring, a season that compresses the life cycles of temperate regions into a brief, intense period of growth and reproduction. From the depths of her winter den carved into a hillside beneath the roots of ancient spruce trees, the grizzly bear begins her slow emergence into the world of spring. After 6 months of hibernation, during which she has given birth to 2 tiny cubs, the sow represents one of nature's most remarkable survival stories. Her massive frame, which can weigh up to 600 pounds, has sustained not only her own life, but also the nursing of her cubs throughout the winter, all without eating, drinking, or eliminating waste. The den, which she excavated the previous fall, provided perfect insulation against winter's worst extremes. The narrow entrance, barely large enough for her massive shoulders, opened into a chamber just spacious enough for her body and her cubs. The walls, compressed by her body heat and breathing, created a microclimate that remained above freezing, even when outside temperatures plummeted far below zero. Here, in this hidden sanctuary, she gave birth to cubs no larger than hamsters, nurturing them with milk produced from her own body's stored fat reserves. Now, as the spring sun penetrates deeper into the forest and the first warm air begins to flow into her den, the sow faces one of the most challenging transitions in the natural world. Her body, which has survived winter by slowing its metabolism to a crawl, must now rapidly adapt to the demands of active life. Her heart rate, which dropped to as low as 8 beats per minute during hibernation, begins to accelerate. Her breathing, shallow and infrequent throughout winter, deepens as her body prepares for the energy demands of spring foraging. Her cubs, now about the size of small dogs and covered in soft, dark fur, experience their own awakening, having known only the warm, dark security of the den. They now face their first exposure to the outside world. Their eyes, which opened just weeks ago, must adjust to the bright light of spring. Their ears, tiny and rounded, twitch at every new sound in an environment that seems vast and overwhelming after the confined safety of their birth den. The sow's emergence is cautious and methodical. She has not eaten in 6 months, and her body has consumed nearly 40% of her pre-hibernation weight to sustain herself and her cubs. Her first priority is assessment of the environment, testing the air for scents that might indicate danger or opportunity. Her sense of smell, 7 times more sensitive than a bloodhound's, processes the complex chemical information of spring, the scent of other bears, the location of early vegetation, the presence of carrion left by winter's casualties. Her massive claws, which grew continuously throughout hibernation, now serve as both tools and weapons. Nearly 4 inches long and capable of tearing through logs or digging through frozen ground, these claws are perfectly adapted for the omnivorous lifestyle that allows grizzlies to thrive in Denali's challenging environment. She uses them to steady herself as she navigates the steep slope leading away from her den, her massive body still adjusting to movement after months of inactivity. The cubs follow their mother with the unsteady gait of creatures learning to walk in a world much larger than anything they have ever experienced. Their survival depends entirely on their mother's ability to find food, protect them from predators, and teach them the skills they will need to survive in one of the world's most demanding environments. At barely 10 pounds each, they are vulnerable to golden eagles, wolves, and even male grizzly bears, making their mother's protective instincts one of the most formidable forces in Denali's spring landscape. The sow's first foraging attempts reveal the desperate hunger that drives all hibernating animals in spring. She strips bark from aspen trees, her powerful jaws capable of processing the tough cellulose that provides essential nutrients. Her digestive system, which has been dormant throughout winter, slowly begins to function again, processing the fibrous plant material that will sustain her until more nutritious food becomes available. As she forages, the sow demonstrates the intelligence that makes grizzly bears such successful survivors. She tests various plants, using her acute sense of taste to identify those with the highest nutritional value. Her memory, enhanced by years of experience, guides her to locations where she has found early spring foods in previous years. Each successful foraging site becomes part of a mental map that will guide her movements throughout the season. The cubs watch their mother with intense attention, their developing minds absorbing lessons that will shape their behavior for life. They learn which plants are safe to eat, how to recognize the signs of danger, and how to navigate the complex social dynamics of a world where other bears, wolves, and countless other creatures compete for the same resources. Their education in survival has begun, and their teacher is one of the most experienced predators in North America. As the spring melt transforms Denali's landscape, creating temporary ponds and wetlands throughout the tundra, the moose emerges as one of the season's most impressive success stories. The bull moose, standing nearly 7 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing up to 1,500 pounds, represents the largest member of the deer family and one of the most perfectly adapted creatures for life in the subarctic environment of interior Alaska. His massive antlers, which he shed during the winter and is now beginning to regrow, mark him as a mature male in his prime. The new antlers, covered in soft velvet that carries blood vessels and nerves, grow at the remarkable rate of nearly an inch per day. By summer's end, they will span 6 feet across and weigh up to 40 pounds, making them among the largest antlers in the animal kingdom. But for now, they are tender and vulnerable, requiring him to move carefully through the dense willow thickets that line the spring waterways. The moose's spring awakening centers around the abundant wetland vegetation that emerges as snow melts and streams overflow their banks. His specialized digestive system, featuring a 4-chambered stomach capable of processing up to 60 pounds of vegetation daily, makes him perfectly suited to take advantage of the explosion of plant growth that characterizes Denali's brief growing season. His long legs, which seemed almost comically oversized during winter's deep snow, now prove their worth as he wades through the meltwater ponds in search of the aquatic plants that provide essential nutrients. The moose's feeding behavior reveals the remarkable adaptations that allow him to thrive in an environment where the growing season lasts only 4 months. His prehensile upper lip, almost trunk-like in its flexibility, allows him to grasp and strip leaves from branches with surprising delicacy. His large molars, designed for grinding tough plant material, work constantly as he processes the enormous quantities of vegetation required to sustain his massive frame. His movement through the landscape demonstrates the moose's unique approach to survival in Denali's challenging environment. Unlike caribou, which rely on speed and herd behavior, or bears, which use intelligence and adaptability, the moose has chosen a strategy based on size, strength, and the ability to utilize food sources unavailable to other animals. His long legs allow him to wade into water up to his shoulders, accessing aquatic plants that provide crucial minerals and nutrients. The moose's spring diet consists primarily of willows, aspens, and aquatic vegetation, but his feeding strategy reveals a sophisticated understanding of nutritional needs. He selects young shoots and leaves with high protein content, avoiding the older, more fibrous material that would provide fewer nutrients for the energy required to digest it. His ability to reach vegetation up to 10 feet high gives him access to food sources beyond the reach of other browsers, reducing competition and increasing his chances of survival. As he feeds in a particularly rich wetland, the moose demonstrates the calm, methodical approach that characterizes his species. Each bite is deliberate and efficient, his powerful jaws working with the rhythm of a creature that has learned to maximize every feeding opportunity. His large ears, constantly moving to monitor his environment, pick up the sounds of approaching danger, while his excellent sense of smell tests the air for the scent of predators. The moose's spring behavior also reveals his vulnerability, despite his impressive size. His calving areas, typically located in dense willow thickets near water, must provide both food and protection for the cows and their newborn calves. The bulls, like this one, are generally solitary during spring, focusing their energy on rebuilding their strength after winter's challenges and preparing for the demanding antler growth that will dominate their summer. His presence in the wetland ecosystem serves multiple important functions beyond his own survival. As he feeds, he helps shape the vegetation structure, creating openings that benefit other wildlife species. His large hooves, which spread wide to distribute his weight, help aerate the soil around wetland margins. His droppings provide fertilizer that enriches the aquatic ecosystems, supporting the complex web of life that depends on these temporary water bodies. The moose's spring awakening represents one of the most successful adaptations to life in Denali's challenging environment, demonstrating how size and specialization can overcome the limitations imposed by harsh climate and brief growing seasons. High above the awakening tundra, where the spring thermals begin to rise from the warming earth, the golden eagle soars with the majesty and power that have made her the apex aerial predator of Denali's skies. With a wingspan approaching 8 feet and weighing up to 15 pounds, she represents the perfect fusion of power and grace. Her keen eyes capable of spotting prey from distances that would challenge the most sophisticated optics. The eagle's spring territory encompasses nearly 50 square miles of diverse habitat, from the alpine zones near Denali's peaks to the river valleys where prey animals concentrate during the early growing season. Her nest, constructed on a cliff face that provides both protection and commanding views of the surrounding landscape, represents years of careful construction and renovation. The massive structure, built of sticks and lined with soft materials, can weigh over a ton and serves as both nursery and fortress for her offspring. Her hunting strategy during spring takes advantage of the seasonal vulnerabilities of prey animals weakened by winter or made visible by the patchy snow cover. From her soaring height of over 1,000 feet, her extraordinary vision allows her to detect the movement of ground squirrels, marmots, and even young caribou across vast distances. Her eyes, proportionally larger than those of any other bird of prey, can discern details that would be invisible to human observers. The golden eagle's spring hunting demonstrates the precision and power that have made her legendary among the peoples of the North. When she identifies prey, her approach is a masterpiece of aerial dynamics. She begins her dive from tremendous heights, folding her wings close to her body to achieve speeds that can exceed 150 miles per hour. Her talons, equipped with claws that can exert pressure of over 400 pounds per square inch, are capable of crushing the spine of animals much larger than typical prey species. Her mate, slightly smaller but equally skilled, patrols a different section of their territory, the pair maintaining contact through calls that carry across miles of mountain terrain. Their partnership, which can last for decades, represents one of the most successful breeding strategies in Denali's challenging environment. Together, they must provide for offspring that will remain dependent for months, requiring a steady supply of prey throughout the brief but demanding spring and summer seasons. The eagle's nest contains 2 eggs, laid several days apart, which creates a natural hierarchy among the chicks when they hatch. This size difference, which seems cruel to human observers, actually increases the survival chances of at least one offspring during years when prey is scarce. The larger chick will dominate feeding opportunities, ensuring that the strongest individual survives even if environmental conditions cannot support the entire brood. Her hunting success rate during spring is remarkable, with experienced eagles catching prey in over 70% of their hunting attempts. This efficiency is crucial, as the energy demands of providing for growing chicks while maintaining her own condition require a steady supply of high-quality prey. Her preferred targets include ground squirrels, marmots, and ptarmigan. Though she is capable of taking prey as large as young Dall sheep or caribou calves when opportunity presents itself. The golden eagle's role in Denali's ecosystem extends beyond her position as apex predator. Her presence helps regulate prey populations, preventing overgrazing that could damage the fragile tundra vegetation. Her keen eyesight and elevated position make her an early warning system for other animals, as her behavior patterns often indicate the presence of terrestrial predators or environmental changes that affect the entire ecosystem. As spring progresses towards summer, the golden eagle's territory becomes increasingly active with the demands of raising young. Her hunting patterns intensify. Her territorial displays become more aggressive, and her partnership with her mate strengthens into one of nature's most efficient predatory partnerships. High above Denali's awakening landscape, she represents the perfect adaptation to life in one of the world's most demanding environments. Summer in Denali arrives like a miracle, transforming the harsh landscape of winter and the tentative awakening of spring into a paradise of abundance that seems almost impossible after the preceding months of struggle. The sun, which barely touched the horizon during winter's depths, now circles the sky for nearly 20 hours each day, bathing the tundra in endless golden light that triggers an explosion of life unprecedented in temperate regions. The transformation is nothing short of magical. Valleys that were frozen wastelands just months earlier now burst with wildflowers in colors so vibrant they seem painted by an artist's brush. The caribou moss, reindeer lichens, and Arctic cotton create a carpet of textures and hues that extends to every horizon. Rivers that were locked in ice now run free and full, their waters carrying the melted snow from distant peaks and creating the wetland paradises that support millions of migrating birds. This is the season of plenty, when every creature in Denali must maximize the opportunities presented by nature's brief but generous bounty. The endless daylight means that photosynthesis continues around the clock, creating plant growth rates that compensate for the short growing season with incredible intensity. Animals that survived winter's trials now face the challenge of building reserves for the next cycle, while taking advantage of breeding opportunities that come only once each year. The landscape becomes a stage for some of nature's most spectacular dramas. Territorial battles reach their peak intensity as animals compete for the best feeding and breeding areas. Courtship displays transform the tundra into a theater of natural selection, where the strongest, most intelligent, and most adaptable individuals pass their genes to the next generation. Migration routes that were established thousands of years ago bring visitors from as far away as Central America and Asia, creating a diversity of life that makes Denali one of the world's great wildlife spectacles. In this season of abundance, the food web reaches its full complexity. Every ecological niche is filled, every available resource is utilized, and the intricate relationships between predator and prey, plant and animal, reach their maximum expression. This is Denali's summer, a brief but intense celebration of life that must sustain the ecosystem through another cycle of seasons. Across the vast expanse of Denali's summer tundra, One of the world's great wildlife spectacles unfolds as thousands of caribou converge in massive herds that stretch beyond the horizon. The Western Arctic herd, numbering over 200,000 individuals, represents one of the largest remaining concentrations of large mammals on Earth. The bull caribou, now in his prime at 8 years old, carries antlers that span 4 feet across and display the intricate branching that marks him as a dominant member of the herd. His summer coat, reddish-brown with white patches on the neck and belly, provides perfect camouflage against the tundra vegetation, while offering protection from the swarms of insects that represent one of summer's greatest challenges. His thick hide, scarred from years of battles with other bulls and encounters with predators, tells the story of a survivor who has learned to thrive in one of the world's most demanding environments. The caribou's summer migration follows routes established over millennia, pathways worn into the landscape by countless generations of hooves. These ancient highways cross rivers, traverse mountain passes, and connect calving grounds with summer feeding areas in a complex pattern that maximizes the herd's ability to exploit seasonal resources. The bull's participation in this migration demonstrates the sophisticated navigation abilities that allow caribou to travel thousands of miles with pinpoint accuracy. His movement through the landscape reveals the caribou's remarkable adaptations to life in the Arctic. His large, concave hooves serve multiple functions. They provide flotation on soft tundra, traction on rocky surfaces, and serve as paddles when crossing the numerous rivers and streams that crisscross the migration routes. His specialized nose warms incoming air and recovers moisture from exhaled breath, crucial adaptations for an animal that must remain active in extreme conditions. The bull's feeding strategy during summer takes advantage of the brief but intense growing season that characterizes Arctic regions. He selects the most nutritious parts of plants, focusing on new growth that provides maximum protein and energy content. His 4-chambered stomach allows him to process large quantities of vegetation quickly, extracting nutrients from plants that would be indigestible to many other animals. His participation in the herd's complex social dynamics reveals the sophisticated behavioral adaptations that make large-scale migrations possible. The caribou communicate through a variety of vocalizations, postures, and chemical signals that coordinate movement and maintain group cohesion. The bull's position in the herd hierarchy, earned through years of successful breeding and survival, gives him access to the best feeding areas and protection in the center of the group during dangerous river crossings. The summer breeding season, known as the rut, transforms the normally peaceful caribou into aggressive competitors willing to battle for the right to mate with the herd's females. The bull's antlers, which reach their full size during summer, become weapons in ritualized combat that can last for hours. These battles, while appearing violent to human observers, follow strict behavioral rules that minimize serious injury, while establishing clear dominance hierarchies. His ability to navigate the challenges of summer, from insect harassment to river crossings to predator avoidance, demonstrates the evolutionary adaptations that have allowed caribou to thrive in Arctic environments for thousands of years. The bull's success in this demanding environment ensures that his genetic legacy will continue in the next generation of caribou, perpetuating the ancient cycle of migration and survival that defines life in Denali's summer tundra. As the summer progresses, the caribou herd's movements create one of the most impressive wildlife spectacles on Earth. A living river of animals flowing across the landscape in patterns older than human civilization. In the alpine zones above treeline, where the summer tundra meets the perpetual snows of Denali's highest peaks, The willow ptarmigan demonstrates one of nature's most remarkable adaptations to seasonal change. The male ptarmigan, resplendent in his summer plumage of rich brown and gold feathers that provide perfect camouflage against the tundra vegetation, represents the ultimate expression of seasonal adaptation in the bird world. His transformation from winter's pure white plumage to summer's intricate brown patterns represents more than simple camouflage. It demonstrates the ptarmigan's ability to literally reshape his appearance to match the changing seasons. The molting process, which takes place gradually over several weeks, ensures that he is never completely vulnerable to predators while maintaining optimal camouflage for each phase of the seasonal cycle. The ptarmigan's summer territory, located in the alpine zones where few other birds can survive, provides both opportunities and challenges that have shaped every aspect of his biology. The harsh conditions at these elevations, where temperatures can fluctuate dramatically within hours and weather patterns change with little warning, require adaptations that go far beyond simple cold tolerance. His feeding strategy during the brief alpine growing season reveals the efficiency necessary for survival in environments where every calorie counts. He focuses on the most nutritious parts of alpine plants, particularly new growth that provides maximum protein and energy content. His specialized digestive system, featuring an enlarged crop and powerful gizzard, allows him to process tough plant materials that would be indigestible to other birds. The male's territorial behavior during summer breeding season transforms him from a secretive, camouflaged bird into one of the most conspicuous creatures in the alpine environment. His territorial calls, which can be heard across miles of mountain terrain, serve to establish boundaries and attract mates, while advertising his genetic fitness to potential partners and competitors alike. His courtship displays represent some of the most elaborate behavioral adaptations in the bird world. The male's flights, during which he rises high into the air before diving earthward with wings set and tail fanned, create spectacular aerial shows that can be seen from great distances. These displays, combined with his distinctive calls and ground-based strutting behaviors, demonstrate the energy investment that successful reproduction requires in harsh environments. The ptarmigan's nest, carefully concealed among the alpine vegetation and lined with soft materials gathered from across his territory, represents a masterpiece of camouflage and insulation. The female's incubation duties, which require her to remain motionless for hours while exposed to the harsh alpine weather, depend on camouflage so perfect that observers can pass within feet without detecting her presence. His vigilance behaviors reveal the constant predation pressure that shapes ptarmigan life in the alpine zones. Golden eagles, gerfalcons, and Arctic foxes all consider ptarmigan preferred prey, requiring constant awareness and lightning-fast reflexes to avoid capture. His ability to remain completely motionless when danger threatens, combined with his perfect camouflage, represents one of the most effective anti-predator strategies in the bird world. The ptarmigan's summer diet extends beyond vegetation to include insects, particularly during the brief period when alpine insects emerge in large numbers. This protein source is crucial for egg production and chick development, demonstrating the importance of timing in Arctic breeding cycles. His ability to switch between different food sources as they become available shows the dietary flexibility necessary for survival in unpredictable environments. His adaptation to life in Denali's alpine zones represents one of the most successful colonizations of extreme environments in the bird world, demonstrating how specialization and behavioral flexibility can overcome seemingly impossible environmental challenges. In the dense spruce forests that cover Denali's lower elevations, where the summer understory creates a complex maze of shadows and hiding places. The Canada lynx moves with the silent grace that has made him one of North America's most elusive predators. The male lynx, weighing nearly 30 pounds and standing 2 feet tall at the shoulder, represents the perfect adaptation to life in the boreal forest. His every feature shaped by millions of years of evolution as a specialist predator. His distinctive appearance, featuring prominent ear tufts, enormous snowshoe-like paws, and a short black-tipped tail, marks him as uniquely adapted to his northern forest environment. His thick grayish-brown coat provides perfect camouflage among the dappled shadows of the forest floor, while his long legs allow him to move silently through dense vegetation that would betray the presence of other predators. The lynx's summer hunting strategy focuses almost exclusively on snowshoe hares, prey animals that make up over 80% of his diet during years when they are abundant. His specialization on this single prey species has shaped every aspect of his anatomy and behavior. From his oversized paws that provide silent movement through forest debris, to his exceptional hearing that can detect the subtle movements of hares at remarkable distances. His hunting technique represents the pinnacle of stealth predation. Moving through his territory with the patience of a creature that understands the value of energy conservation, he uses every available piece of cover to approach within striking distance of unsuspecting prey. His large paws, which spread to nearly 4 inches across, distribute his weight so effectively that he can move across forest floors without making a sound. The lynx's territory during summer encompasses nearly 15 square miles of dense forest, an area he patrols with methodical thoroughness. His intimate knowledge of every trail, every fallen log, every dense thicket allows him to predict where hares are most likely to feed, rest, or seek shelter. This territorial familiarity, combined with his exceptional stealth abilities, gives him significant advantages over prey animals that must constantly move through unfamiliar terrain. His exceptional eyesight, adapted for low-light conditions in the dense forest, allows him to hunt effectively during the dawn and dusk hours when snowshoe hares are most active. His eyes, proportionally larger than those of other cats, gather light with remarkable efficiency, providing vision capabilities that approach those of nocturnal specialists, while maintaining effectiveness in daylight conditions. The lynx's powerful hindquarters, disproportionately muscled compared to his front legs, provide the explosive power necessary for his characteristic hunting leap. When he strikes, his acceleration is so rapid that prey animals have virtually no time to react. His attack, delivered from distances that can exceed 15 feet, represents one of the most efficient predatory techniques in the mammal world. His summer breeding behavior reveals another aspect of lynx adaptation to boreal forest life. Males establish territories that overlap with those of several females, using scent marking and vocalizations to communicate with potential mates across distances that would make visual contact impossible in the dense forest. His distinctive calls, ranging from soft mews to piercing screams, serve multiple functions in establishing and maintaining these territorial relationships. The lynx's role in Denali's forest ecosystem extends far beyond his position as a specialized predator. His predation on snowshoe hares helps regulate populations that could otherwise damage forest vegetation through overgrazing. His presence influences the behavior patterns of other forest carnivores, creating complex interaction networks that shape the entire forest predator community. His summer success in hunting and territorial maintenance will determine his survival through the challenging winter months ahead, when deep snow and scarce prey will test every adaptation that has made the lynx one of the North's most successful specialized predators. Autumn in Denali is subtle, but beneath this breathtaking beauty lies an urgency that drives every creature to prepare for the trials ahead. This is the season of reckoning, when the abundance of summer must be converted into the reserves that will sustain life through another brutal winter. The first signs of change whisper across the tundra in early August, when the endless daylight of summer begins to shorten perceptibly. The sun, which circled the sky for months without setting, now dips closer to the horizon each day, its changing angle triggering cascading responses throughout the ecosystem. Plants begin their rush to complete reproductive cycles before frost ends the growing season. Animals enter the frantic phase of preparation that will determine their survival chances in the months ahead. The transformation is as rapid as it is dramatic. The vibrant greens of summer fade to the rich golds and deep reds that make Alaska's autumn famous worldwide. Blueberry bushes turn crimson, their fruits ripening in vast patches that attract bears and birds from across the region. The dwarf birch and willow shrubs add their own palette of yellows and oranges, while the underlying carpet of lichens and mosses provides texture and depth to the grand display. This is the season when migration routes come alive with birds departing for southern wintering grounds, their ancient pathways tested by weather systems that can change from benign to deadly within hours. For the animals that remain, autumn represents the final opportunity to build fat reserves, establish winter territories, and complete the behavioral adaptations that will carry them through the dark months ahead. The shortening days trigger hormonal changes that affect every aspect of animal behavior. Breeding seasons reach their climax as animals rush to ensure their genetic legacy before winter arrives. Territorial boundaries shift as creatures position themselves for optimal access to winter resources. The very air seems charged with the urgency of preparation, as every species races against the advancing season. As the golden light of autumn filters through the aspen groves, casting dancing shadows across the forest floor, the Denali wolf pack demonstrates the complex social dynamics that have made them one of the most successful predators in the northern wilderness. The alpha pair, leaders of the East Fork pack for 3 consecutive years, now faces the challenges of maintaining pack cohesion while preparing for the harsh winter ahead. The alpha female, pregnant with her second litter, must balance the demands of her changing body with the pack's need for strong leadership during this critical season. The pack's composition has evolved throughout the summer, with 2 yearlings now approaching full adult size and beginning to challenge the established hierarchy. The beta male, scarred veteran of countless hunts, maintains his position through a combination of experience and carefully calculated displays of dominance. The omega wolf, essential for pack stability despite his low status, serves as both tension reliever and early warning system for the group's complex social interactions. Their autumn territory encompasses nearly 400 square miles of diverse habitat, from dense forest to open tundra, each zone offering different hunting opportunities as prey animals begin their own seasonal preparations. The pack's hunting strategy has adapted to take advantage of the behavioral changes in their prey species, focusing on the caribou and moose that are building fat reserves and becoming less vigilant as they concentrate on feeding. The alpha female's condition adds complexity to every pack decision. Her pregnancy, though not yet visible, affects her endurance and hunting ability, requiring the pack to adapt their tactics to ensure her safety while maintaining hunting efficiency. the alpha male's protective behavior intensifies, his territorial marking becoming more frequent and aggressive as he establishes boundaries that will protect the den site chosen for the upcoming winter births. The pack's communication during autumn reaches its peak complexity, with vocalizations, body language, and scent marking all playing crucial roles in maintaining group cohesion. Their howling sessions, which can last for over an hour, serve multiple functions: coordinating pack movements, establishing territorial boundaries, and reinforcing social bonds that will be crucial for winter survival. The haunting chorus that echoes across Denali's valleys represents one of the most sophisticated communication systems in the animal kingdom. Their hunting success during autumn is remarkable, with the pack taking down prey every 3 to 4 days. This frequency, much higher than their winter success rate, reflects both the abundance of prey animals and the pack's need to build energy reserves. The alpha female's pregnancy requires additional nutrition, while the growing yearlings need constant feeding to complete their development before winter's challenges test their survival skills. The pack's territorial boundaries become increasingly important as autumn progresses. Other wolf packs, facing the same seasonal pressures, test these boundaries with increasing frequency. The alpha pair's response to these incursions reveals the delicate balance between aggression and energy conservation that governs wolf behavior. Each territorial dispute must be evaluated for its potential costs and benefits, as unnecessary fights could weaken the pack before winter's trials begin. The yearling's development during autumn is crucial for pack survival. Their hunting skills, learned through months of observation and practice, must reach competency levels that will allow them to contribute effectively to winter hunts. Their social integration, managed through complex behavioral interactions with older pack members, determines their future roles in the pack hierarchy and their chances of surviving to reproductive age. As autumn deepens, the wolf pack's preparations intensify. Cache sites are established for storing excess meat from successful hunts. Den sites are scouted and prepared for the alpha female's winter pregnancy. The pack's movements become more focused on areas that will provide winter hunting opportunities, as they prepare for the season when their survival will depend on the strength of their social bonds and the efficiency of their cooperative hunting strategies. High in the rocky talus slopes where Denali's mountains meet the sky, a small, round-eared creature works with the desperate intensity of one who knows that winter's survival depends entirely on autumn's labor. The American pika, weighing barely half a pound, but possessing a work ethic that would impress any farmer, represents one of nature's most remarkable examples of seasonal preparation. This small relative of rabbits and hares has adapted to life at elevations where few mammals can survive, creating one of the most sophisticated food storage systems in the animal kingdom. The pika's autumn territory, a maze of rocky crevices and boulder fields at nearly 8,000 feet elevation, provides both the materials and the motivation for his extraordinary harvesting behavior. His intimate knowledge of every rock, every crevice, every plant growing in the thin soil between boulders, allows him to maximize his efficiency during the brief window of opportunity that autumn provides. His harvesting technique reveals the precision and planning that characterize pika behavior. Working from dawn to dusk, he cuts plants with surgical precision, selecting species and plant parts that will provide maximum nutrition while maintaining their nutritional value throughout the long winter storage period. His keen understanding of plant biology guides his choices, as he selects vegetation at optimal stages of maturity and moisture content for long-term preservation. The pika's hay piles, carefully constructed and protected crevices throughout his territory, represent architectural marvels of food storage. Each pile, containing up to 30 pounds of dried vegetation, is positioned to take advantage of natural air circulation patterns that prevent spoilage while protecting the stored food from weather and theft. His construction technique, refined through years of experience, creates structures that can maintain their integrity and nutritional value throughout the harsh mountain winter. His work schedule during autumn is relentless, with activity periods extending from the first light of dawn until darkness forces him to seek shelter. His small size, which might seem disadvantageous in the harsh mountain environment, actually provides significant advantages in energy efficiency and the ability to navigate the complex rocky terrain where he makes his home. His round body shape and dense fur provide excellent insulation, while his large hind feet give him the traction needed for safe movement across steep, loose rock surfaces. The pika's territory defense during autumn becomes increasingly aggressive as the season progresses. His harsh territorial calls, which can be heard across the rocky slopes, serve to warn competitors away from his harvesting areas and storage sites. These vocalizations, remarkably loud for such a small animal, demonstrate the energy investment that successful territory defense requires during this critical season. His plant selection strategy reveals sophisticated understanding of alpine ecology and seasonal plant chemistry. He preferentially harvests plants that are high in protein and energy content while avoiding species that might spoil quickly or lose nutritional value during storage. His ability to distinguish between different plant species and select optimal harvesting times demonstrates cognitive abilities that rival those of much larger mammals. The pika's social interactions during autumn are minimal, as each individual focuses entirely on his own survival preparations. Unlike many mountain mammals that form social groups for winter survival, pikas remain solitary throughout the year, their survival strategy based entirely on individual preparation and resource management. This independence, while increasing individual risk, allows for more efficient use of the limited resources available in the harsh alpine environment. His harvesting activities serve important ecosystem functions beyond his own survival. His selective cutting of alpine vegetation helps maintain plant community diversity by preventing any single species from dominating available growing sites. His movement of plant materials from growing sites to storage areas helps distribute nutrients throughout the rocky slopes, enriching soil and crevices where organic matter might not otherwise accumulate. As autumn progresses toward winter, the pika's work intensifies. Each day brings him closer to the point where snow will end his harvesting opportunities, making every hour of remaining favorable weather crucial for his survival through the long mountain winter ahead. Through the mixed landscape of forest and tundra that characterizes Denali's middle elevations, the red fox moves with the confident stride of a predator that has mastered the art of adaptability. The vixen, her coat now at its richest autumn coloration of deep red, with black legs and white-tipped tail, represents one of the most successful medium-sized predators in the northern wilderness. Her autumn activities demonstrate the intelligence and flexibility that have allowed foxes to thrive in environments from Arctic tundra to temperate forests. Her territory during autumn encompasses nearly 20 square miles of diverse habitat, from dense spruce forests, where she hunts small mammals, to open meadows where she searches for berries and insects. This habitat diversity provides the resource base that supports her omnivorous lifestyle, allowing her to take advantage of seasonal abundance while maintaining alternative food sources when primary prey becomes scarce. The fox's hunting strategy during autumn reveals the opportunistic intelligence that characterizes her species. Her exceptional hearing, capable of detecting the movement of small mammals beneath snow or dense vegetation, guides her to prey that other predators might miss entirely. Her hunting technique, featuring the characteristic fox pounce that can drive her body weight through several feet of snow to capture hidden prey, represents one of the most efficient small mammal hunting methods in the predator world. Her autumn diet demonstrates remarkable dietary flexibility, including small mammals, birds, insects, berries, and even carrion when available. This omnivorous approach provides crucial advantages during the unpredictable autumn season, when weather patterns can suddenly eliminate certain food sources, while creating unexpected opportunities for others. Her ability to switch between hunting strategies depending on available prey shows the behavioral flexibility that has made foxes successful across diverse environments. The vixen's preparation for winter includes the establishment of multiple den sites throughout her territory. These dens, excavated in well-drained locations with multiple entrances, provide both emergency shelters during severe weather and potential nursery sites for next spring's litter. Her engineering skills, demonstrated in the complex tunnel systems that can extend over 40 feet underground, create climate-controlled environments that maintain stable temperatures even during extreme weather events. Her caching behavior during autumn reveals another aspect of fox intelligence and planning ability. Surplus food items are buried at dozens of locations throughout her territory, creating a network of emergency food supplies that can sustain her during periods when hunting is impossible. Her spatial memory, which allows her to relocate these caches months later even under deep snow, demonstrates cognitive abilities that rival those of much larger mammals. The fox's social behavior during autumn is primarily solitary, though she maintains awareness of other foxes in the area through scent marking and occasional vocalizations. Her territory boundaries, marked with scent posts that communicate her presence and reproductive status, help prevent conflicts with neighboring foxes, while advertising her availability to potential mates as the winter breeding season approaches. Her interactions with other predators reveal the complex dynamics that govern Denali's carnivore community. Her size and agility allow her to avoid direct competition with larger predators like wolves and bears, while her intelligence helps her exploit opportunities created by their hunting activities. Her ability to locate and utilize carcasses left by larger predators provides crucial nutrition during periods when her own hunting efforts are less successful. The fox's autumn coat development represents one of the most dramatic seasonal transformations in the mammal world. Her summer coat, relatively thin and designed for heat dissipation, gradually transforms into a dense, luxurious winter pelt that provides insulation against temperatures that can drop to 50 degrees below zero. This transformation, controlled by changing day length and temperature, prepares her for the extreme conditions that define winter survival in the subarctic environment. Her autumn activities intensify as the season progresses, her movements becoming more focused on territory maintenance and resource acquisition as she prepares for the challenges that winter will bring to her diverse and demanding environment. Human presence in Denali National Park has significantly influenced the natural behavior and patterns of wildlife. As tourism increases, more animals are seen near roads and trails where humans frequently travel. This has led to a rise in human-animal interactions, some of which can be dangerous. In one case, a mother and daughter encountered a grizzly bear only 15 feet from their campsite. Although the bear eventually left, this close encounter shows how human activity can provoke unpredictable animal behavior. Animals like bears and wolves are now drawn to areas with heavy tourist activity, often because of the dust and smells left behind by vehicles. While this allows visitors to observe wildlife more easily, it also increases the risk of conflict and changes how these animals behave in their natural environment. Denali is home to many species, including bears, wolves, moose, caribou, and Dall sheep. These animals are frequently spotted near areas with high human traffic, while many tourists come hoping to see them up close. These encounters must be handled carefully. For example, moose, though not predators, have caused serious injuries when approached too closely. Park guests have been warned not to take selfies or get near animals, yet such behavior continues. Over time, human activity has changed the way animals live and move through the park. Wolves, in particular, are becoming more difficult to find due to hunting and increased fear of humans. Although Denali has no endangered species currently living within its borders, the threat of human expansion looms. If efforts are not made to protect these ecosystems and maintain respectful distances, the park may no longer be the thriving wildlife haven it is today. Captivated by Denali National Park's incredible wildlife? Show your support by hitting the like button and commenting below with your favorite animal. Sharing this video helps spread awareness and plays a part in protecting these awe-inspiring ecosystems. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss another wild journey into nature's most stunning places.